Hey everybody, it's Sonjdradeluxe, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Aaliyah collection with MAC. Unfortunately, this was supposed to be a talk through, but my microphone wasn't plugged in properly, so I'm doing a voiceover. Sorry about that. I just didn't want to give up, the look. So this is what the PR package looked like. It comes in a pyramid and a deep plummy color. I thought it was mad cute, and inside has a beautiful picture of her. I already tore through this because I did my makeup with it, but the products were inside there, and I've been really looking forward to this. I'm going to show you the lipsticks first. This is the Try Again lipstick, which is a very cool tone, like 90s nude, and that comes in a matte finish. This one is the amplified lipstick called More Than a Woman. It's kind of like a deeper berry color. An amplified cream is like a pretty vibrant lipstick that's very creamy, but still gives you the same impact as a matte would, just with a little bit more texture, of more of a moisturizing texture. Next up, we have Hot Like lipstick, which is kind of like a bright blue tone red, I would say. This one is called Street Thing, and it's a frost. It's actually black with multicolored specks in it. I can't really show it on camera because I'm not slick like that with the camera. But this is what the bullet looks like. It's their classic bullet, but with special edition packaging with her signature. And it's a really beautiful metallic plum kind of color. But that is the black lipstick. I think is so cool. It's kind of more on the sheer side. Next up, we're going to take a look at the glosses. They have the same packaging that are the regular lip glosses do, but again with the special edition color packaging. So this one is a beautiful like champagne color called Brooklyn Born, and sorry it's blurry. This one is Lily's Motorcity. It's really beautiful peachy color. Both of these I would like wear all the time. This one is At the Best You Are. It's kind of like a deep plummy color, and the last one is really cool. I thought it was black, but it's actually a really deep black plum called One in a Million, and it has little blue and iridescent reflects in it, and I tried to show that on camera. Probably was not successful, but it looks really cool. Go and check it out in store because it's a gorgeous color. With these deep tones, I was kind of thinking these colors would be awesome as a fall launch, but here we go. We're having it in summer. We could do whatever we want. So those are all of the lip colors swatched. I'm going to go into the lip pencils now. There's two lip pencils. One called Follow Your Heart, which is a really bright kind of reddish tone. This is very close to the red lipstick in the collection. And next one, again, I thought this was black, but it is not. This is called Nevermore lip pencil, and it is a very blackish plum. So I tried to smudge it out so you could see the color a little bit better, but it's a really dope color. This would be dope even with like black lipstick or your really dark colors you want to do your ombres with. Next up, we have the 9 Pen Eyeshadow Palette with mini shades in it. More cool tones, plums, purples, rose gold. First shadow we have is a silver. It's called Love Smoke. Next shadow we have is kind of like a smoky, almost plum gray color called Magic More, which is a metallic shade. Next up, we have a color called Care For You, which is a really beautiful, vibrant, violet-y plum color. Next up, we have Creative Copper, which is a pale, neutral kind of gold color. And in the center, we have That Somebody, which is a satin finish, I believe, that is kind of close to skin tones. Next up, we have the color Princess of Soul, which is a matte color, espresso shade. After that, we have a taupey color called Deception, a rose gold color called Ginger Snap, and a smoky matte grayish brown called Dance in the Dark. Next up, we have the bronzing color. So I thought this color was a little bit unusual because it looks like it's almost lighter than my skin tone. I've never seen Aaliyah in real life, obviously, but I don't know if that would show up quite like a bronzer on her skin tone, but who knows? Somebody co-signed on it, so we're here for it. It's Aaliyah. So those are the swatches of the collection, and let's get into the tutorial. So first, I'm going to start off with my Gleam by Melanie Mills Deep Gold Body Radiance, and I'm going to use that as a base. I'm a little bit more tan, even though my camera is playing me and I look pale, so I'm using that as a base just to keep up with my summer glow. Next up, I'm going to go into the Milk Makeup Blur Foundation, a matte foundation in tan, and I'm going to massage that all over the place. I still want to have that radiance coming through, but I do want it to be a little deeper, so that's why I switch it up. Sometimes I mix it with the rose gold. Anyways, next we're going to do our concealer, and this is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer in NW25, and I'm just kind of tapping that underneath my eyes to highlight. Because there's no highlighter in the collection, I'm not going to use highlighter, so I'm doing the most with my concealer to make sure that I still have that dimension. I'm also going between the brows. I already had my brows on because, you know, this tutorial doesn't need to be 20 minutes long. Next up, we have the bronzer, which I wish you could hear me talking in this. I said I was going to try it out as a bronzer. Anyways, so I'm taking this Morphe brush and I'm trying to snatch my nose with it. It does darken a little bit. Usually when you take a powder and you put it on wet foundation, it will deepen, but it'll go cooler. So that's good for a nose contour. This bronzer has little reflects gold glitter kind of stuff in it, so I was trying to get that to show up, and it does show up a little bit on my skin, but for me to be the bronze medallion that I like to be every day, I would say it's maybe not quite dark enough for my skin tone. I think this would be a good bronzer for somebody who is fair skin. MAC came out with an extreme dimension bronzer called DELPHIC, and I really wanted to try it. It's from the Mirage Noir or something collection. I'll write it in the description box. So I decided to go over top of it with that because I love the extreme dimension line. I always finish off my contour by putting a little bit of my bronzer in the crease just so that the warmth is kind of carried through everywhere. That's how I finish off my contour process. And that also works really well as a transition shade. So I'm going above into my crease and underneath my eye. Using my MAC 224 brush and the Princess of Soul color, I'm going to do really small circles on the outer corners of my eye, and I'm blending it into that transition shade or a bronzer we used earlier. So little circles to kind of deepen, and I'm stopping right at my crease. I'm not really blending it into my crease just yet. I'm doing the same on the inner corner of my eye. I'm kind of going for like a smoky 90s kind of look, but modern, you feel me? Same thing on the other side, using the same brush. I'm doing little circles on the outer corner of my eye and the inner corner of my eye, not quite going right into that tear duct area, and then I'll just give it a little blendy blend so it's nice and smooth and you don't see where we started or where we stopped. Just want it to look like butter, you feel me? I always like to layer up my deep shades just to make sure that it blends well, that we get no fallout and helps everything go on nice and smooth. Next up, I'm going to go into the center shade called That Somebody, and I'm just going to fill in that blank space to kind of blend it. It's a satin, so it's a little bit reflective. I wanted to keep the shine on this to kind of a minimum because I wanted a matte-ish smoky eye. Next, with Creative Copper, I'm just going to tap that in the center of my eye to have a little bit more dimension and to have a soft highlighted look. I don't want it to look like a super glittery eye. I'm trying to keep it mad 90s, and I decided to open up my eyes a little bit more and put that highlight right in the inner corners of my eyes with my finger. When you want highlight to look a little bit more intense, sometimes it's nice to use a finger, and then I just decided to blend it out a little bit with my brush because, you know, I wanted to pull it out a little bit further. I'm going to go back in this time with the MAC 239 brush and our shade we started with, which is the Princess of Soul, and I'm just going to layer on a little bit more of the dark on the outer corners. Like I said, I like to do my dark shades in layers, have it all blended first, and then add the finishing touches at the end to make it really pop. That way it stays really blended looking, like you don't have to try and get it perfect all at once. Do it in layers, and it's quick that way too. I'm also going to go underneath on the bottom outer third of my eye just to add some drama for your mama, and I'm just kind of blending it out, but it's blending out really well because we've already blended it in real nicely. I took a little bit and I blended in the inner corners of my eyes outward so it kind of blends all together underneath. There's not like a chunk of gold and then it stops. I wanted to push that across and make it nice and blendy and gold and delicious. Next up, with my MAC 263 brush, sorry I didn't show you the color, and I'm taking the darkest shade in the palette called Dance in the Dark, and I'm going to do kind of like a mock wing eyeliner, but I'm using eyeshadow, which is going to keep it looking a little bit more smoky, but this is a really foolproof way to do eyeliner if you don't want to commit to like a bold line. It's nice to do it with a little bit of eyeshadow instead, and it's a lot more forgiving than a liquid, so you can still get the drama that you're looking for without having to use your cream eyeliner or whatever it is. So I'm just following the line of my bottom lash line and pulling it out so it's kind of straight, and then I'm not going to go all the way across my eye because there's glitter there, but I'm going to go almost halfway. I'll also line the inner corners of my eyes a little bit to extend that little bit of drama, you know. I feel like I said drama a lot this tutorial, but this isn't that much of a dramatic look. Anyways, lining the inside of the inner corners of my eyes, being careful not to muddy up our inner corner highlight. Same thing on this side. I'm just following the bottom lash line. So if I were to imagine a line going straight up from my bottom lash line and then connecting it to the top lash line, that's a good way to get a nice wing that's customized for your eye without it winging up or, you know, getting a little dip in it or whatever. And because it's shadow, it doesn't have to be that perfect. Next up, with the Benefit Badgal Bang Mascara, I'm going to do a nice little coat on the top and wiggle it back and forth. I'm basically, whenever I do my lashes, I'm gonna put falsies on, so I'm just trying to make them black at this point. I'm not trying to get the most volume. And I'm making sure I get the inner corners of my eyes, because that'll make the lashes blend a little bit more. I'm going to do the same wiggly and drop on the bottom lashes to open up my eyes, and it has a nice little backdrop because of the shadow we put underneath there, and wiggling back and forth to make it extra as heck, because this is more of an intense-ish look, I guess. Next up, I'm going to take my FARRAH lashes by HUDA Beauty, and I'm going to put those to the very edge of my eye. Because we did the mascara on the inner corners, it'll blend a little bit better. These are pretty big lashes, but that's okay. Doing the most is always on the menu. And I just wiggle them down as close as I can to my lash line, and then I give them a nice pinch to blend my lashes and the false lashes together. That way you can't see where one starts and one stops. You just see, bam, lashes. Next up, I'm going to take the dark pencil, and this one is in Nevermore, and I'm going to line my lip. I'm not really doing like an overdrawing type of thing because I plan to put gloss on it. Whenever I put gloss, it goes way over my lip line anyways, so I'm just trying to be a little bit more subtle with it, you know. And I'm starting on the outer corners of my lip and giving it a little rub together. This will be like a soft ombre, but the line will be a little bit more defined because, you know, it's a 90s, so we're trying to make sure our lip line is definitely visible. I'm drawing along the top line first, trying to even out my lip line a little bit. I always have a hard time doing lip liner, but whatever. On the bottom, I usually just fill in the outer corners of my lips, and I'm just dragging it along the center. I'm going to take the Try Again lipstick, and I'm going to blend that in the center. I wipe off a little bit of the liner that's gotten on the lipstick on my hand so I can still keep that color. This is a pretty cool tone lipstick, and usually I wear more warm shades on my lips, or if I even wear lipstick, I'm kind of a lip balm type of girl, but we're doing the most for Aaliyah. And I'm going to blend that in all over. Going back to Aaliyah, this collection is exciting for me because I've been a really huge Aaliyah fan for a long time. I used to want to be like a tomboy like her, wear baggy pants, and I loved her music, so it was really cool to see the collection. Anywho, I'm gonna go over top with Lily's Motorcity Gloss, and I'm gonna put that in the center, rub my lips together, and let it go everywhere like it, you know, how my lip liner usually does. But I think this is a really cool looking 90s lip, and I'm just keeping that color right in the center of my lips just to warm it up a little bit, but it still has that cool tone on the outer part and definition from our liner. So I'm so sorry that this had to be a voiceover. I was very upset that there's no audio when I played it back, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to share, subscribe, follow. Let me know what you're gonna cop from the collection, if anything, and what you think about it. Stay pretty, love yourself, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Oh, I'm almost synced up with my words.